What's up, everybody? This is Technique. I'm here with the brand new premiere of new Rare Drop channel, a show called Rare Drop, and I'm here with the lovely co-host Matt, aka Nighthawk Plays. Matt, this has been a ride, dude. We've been really trying to get something going. Even more of an adventure this morning. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, brother. This has been months now between you and I in the making to get this going and get it ready. I know for you, it's been a little bit longer than that, but I woke up with a huge smile on my face. I got my coffee here, and I'm just ready to dive into this today. I'm excited to talk comics, video games, movie, everything geekdom for you for a very long time, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get any water. I'm dehydrated as hell and don't have coffee. I closed my wife's door, so that ain't happening. And I'm just gonna sit here. I just had my shot yesterday, so I'm even dumber.
Oh God.
So yeah, my brain's a little laggy. And for those that don't know, that this show has been in the making since 2018. That I just haven't found the right people that want to actually push the agenda on this show and just care enough for it. We had some people that we were doing this stuff with. And they got promotions at their jobs, and I can't even be happier. I mean, money calls, and I just needed, when Rare Drop came up and was like, "Yo," Kevin was like, "Hey, man," Ben was like, "We know that you post a lot about comics. Would you like to do a show?" I'm like, "Oh, I already have this done. Here you go." Pop. So this is actually pretty nice, and we get to explore a lot of things. And the good thing about this show is we're not gatekeepers at all.
Yeah.
We're going to be opening the doors for brand new people. If you don't know anything about comics, you can still come in here. If you know everything about comics, we'll probably still be able to teach you something. It's gonna be great, and I'm excited. So first topic of the day, which I don't even know if we have to run the show, so we're just gonna go, off the hip right now, and discuss some things. So basically there will be a running show and there will be like actual like topics and stuff that we go throughout the day. But the first show we want to kind of go, off the head, because that's the best way to approach a brand new show and you get to know the personalities involved.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, we're going to have an abundance to talk about. Obviously we could start today and we will get into a little bit today, but the future as well. I mean, just look at the MCU specifically with their TV shows and their movies and their slates, not only for this year, but when it really even gets even crazier, beginning of next year as well. And that just, that doesn't dive into anything related to DC as well. The amazing things that are happening in comic books. I mean, we got an announcement a couple of weeks ago with something that's been near and dear to my heart. I don't know if you could see it down there. You got Mumra the Ever Living right over there. Thundercats are officially becoming a movie. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I know we've been saying it since day one earlier this week. Whether you're brand new into comics, whether it's just TV, whether it's just movies, we're not gatekeepers. It's going to be a fun ride chatting with us in regards to anything and everything geekdom. And we can't wait to have the discussion with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's comics has a special place in my heart because it's like an escape, right? So some people escape the video games, people escape to books. I escape the comic books and creating that world that these artists have created. But comic books have always been a safe haven for everybody. Comics was made to, honestly, back in the day, only attuned to one type of people. And and I think that's a good segue to bring up is like comics wasn't always inviting for everyone of different races or anything. I mean, this comics date all the way back to what 50s and 60s, maybe even earlier in some sense when it came to newspapers and trying to recruit people for the wars and stuff. They used comic strips for that as well. Being Captain America being like the biggest icon of comics at that time. There's a show on Netflix. I don't know if they still show it, but it was like the history of comics. Is a really good show.
I remember.
Yeah, if you're really interested in getting to know comics, that is a really good standpoint. And they hit on everything. They hit on like the first comic book company that later kind of quote unquote, I'm going to get badgered by one of my friends for this, but kind of made the groundbreaking split for Marvel and DC. Technically, DC was a comic book company first before Marvel, and they were Entity at one point, and they kind of just broke off and did their own thing. Comic book artists left and started their own visions and stuff. Stan Lee. I'm pretty sure everybody knows Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Todd McFarlane was a big part of that company and stuff as well. And and Spider-Man came about, and Wonder Woman, and all that good stuff. So a lot of different edges back and forth. These iconic titans that we see nowadays were around for a long time. So it's really nice to see the modernization of characters.
Oh yeah.
And where they're going with it, because it's not just Captain America holding a flag anymore with a shield with the stars and stripes banners. And now if you really want to go into the MCU, he's a black guy with wings, and it's awesome.
Which we will be talking about a little later today. We will be talking about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, how amazing of a show that was, and B, just a season finale, season finale. I guess we'll talk about that too.
Season.
But because that was an amazing. That literally just happened last week. So there's a lot of discussion to talk about as well in regards to that too. First thing that I want to ask, to give a little bit of an introduction to our audience. Obviously, you can go back here on the Rare Drop channels and check out the podcast that we did on the Professor Broman podcast this past Thursday. Coffee's still kicking in. But when you go back, what was your first introduction into comics / superheroes? Like, what was your introduction to this universe, to this world?
Oof. Oh man. I came out the womb web slinging, dude. Like,
yeah, you're a huge Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, huge Spider-Man fan. Like, literally, I think when the doctor saw it was web shooters before he saw anything feet or head. I had a Blanky, Spider-Man Blanky. I don't have it anymore. My mom won't let me see it. Along with the Winnie the Pooh, she had the choice, and I grabbed Spider-Man over Winnie the Pooh. I was coloring and drawing stuff since '85. I was born in '83, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, comics has always been there for me. I think the real big, I was actually, I'm gonna get slammed for this, but I was actually a DC fan before a Marvel fan a long time ago.
We had you at
Batman
one point.
was my favorite thing in the world. The Batman animated series kind of like pushed me in that direction. Because the only thing that we had that was really Marvel back in the day was X-Men, and that Spider-Man TV show did come late '90s, but it took a while. The Batman was there, and the Batman movies, and all you saw, they like force fed you Batman.
Yeah, DC was all over the place in the 80s and 90s. They were the number one, and it's crazy how the turns have tabled. It's really crazy.
Exactly. I think the disconnect happened early with me in DC, because we kind of touched this on the Broman show, is that they just kept changing Batman. Yeah. I got used to seeing Michael Keaton, and they moved and Jack Nicholson, and they changed it again, and they changed it again, and they changed it again, and I was just like, okay, I can't relate to any of these. And then I discovered the Spider-Man cartoon, and I was already a big Spider-Man fan by then, but it was like he started taking over them, and I was like, what else does Marvel do? And I noticed that the Spider-Verse was huge, and then the Clone Saga happened with Spider-Man, and I was just all up in the Scarlet Spider, Silk. You
haven't noticed yet, Chad. He loves Spider-Man.
Dude, I can go Spider-Verse. Into the whole history. Anything Spider-Man. And I think that's where the disconnect happened. It was just too many different Batmans being played, and the story was never really fully fleshed out. They kept starting over. That was a problem with Spider-Man for a long time. They just kept doing the origin story.
And that's still the big issue with DC, not only in the movies but the comics. The New 52 fell flat on its face. Then they restarted it again, and now they're even starting to do weird stuff with it again. I understand the need to sell and to change. How many stories can you keep on going? But the constant, like you said, the frustration with the change, especially for some people that are trying to get into it new here, where do we start? What do we do? It's a little bit, it's a little rough. And as much as I'm a DC fanboy, as much as I love it, I obviously tip my cap to Marvel. I sit down and watch all the shows. I still remember the original Civil War series, going in and reading it and like, oh my God, this is game changing. Like, I love what Marvel is doing. This is awesome. But then again, what DC done too, it was a little fun as well. But this isn't what side you're on. This isn't who you like, who you dislike. This is going to be a fun conversation for all. Like, I already see, I have the Rare Drop chat open. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was probably one of my favorite shows growing up. Kevin Conroy will always be the Batman for me. I'm tenfold into it. I brought this up on our pre-call prior to this, we started talking about X-Men like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and since then I have not been able to get the I can't get it out of my head. It was so iconic, and unfortunately the stupid BS stuff that led to the demise of it will hopefully bring a rise to another version of it on Disney Plus now that that's back with Marvel. But yeah, it's we're in a place right now. I think that this is it's. I remember growing up like, oh, you like Superman? Please don't talk to me. It is so different now. It is so different.
I'm sorry. That character could have been better fleshed out. That'd be another conversation.
Well, I'm just saying in general, like, you play video games, don't talk to me. Like you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. 100%, dude. We kind of laugh about it. Back in the day, it was the baggiest jeans you can find, the baggiest shirts you can find.
Baggiest Jenkos.
You were cool. But if those skateboarders were the same people that read comics, but they would hide that from people, or they play video games or hide it from that people. Now, reading comics and being the nerd is the cool thing to do. You got your cool badge. And as you said, Saturday morning cartoons, the kids don't have that these days. Kids are more in tune with reality shows than and it's not really, I mean, granted, you have the MCU and they went TV series, and DC went TV series. Technically, quote unquote, that's what kids have. But I mean, where's the imagination behind it? X-Men was like one of the best shows that were ever made animated wise, because it hit on so many like real life stories. Like anybody loved it. Kids loved it because you got to see, Wolverine and Rogue and everybody just beat the heck out of people. But adults liked it because they actually hit on some like ideal stuff that was happening in the world right then and there.
Yeah.
Of course they hide it behind a script that was made for everybody. But like Matt said, we want comics to win in general. I want DC to do better. I want them to see the quality behind quantity aspect of things.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem with DC is like, I get it. You're trying to play catch up. I get it's a race. It's everyone pits you against the other one, and you want to be known as, hey, we can do this too. But it's like, all right, slow down. And then a prime example is Falcon Winter Soldier, because Falcon was introduced in Captain America, and he was just some soldier guy that the famous thing was on your left, and he was an on your left meme forever, and nobody really took Anthony Mackie that serious. He was there as kind of like a War Machine, he's just kind of there in the shadow of Iron Man, and so was Falcon. And it was a really interesting approach how they took it. But each Captain America, each Avengers, Falcon got a bigger and bigger role. He had more screen time. Civil War was amazing because we got to see the relationship between Bucky and Falcon starting to like weave itself together in like a really banterish way. And
that
then
car scene is still hilarious.
Right,
the one line.
Bring that back.
Yep.
In today, and that was years ago. Yes. And that's the focus that I think that we know that there's comic book lovers behind the scenes directing this stuff. It's not just directors, and nobody, and Russo brothers, they deserve way more credit than they get. Kevin deserves way more credit than he gets. It's just that kind of connection. And now that we have Falcon Winter Soldier, people love Anthony Mackie now. People are booking him for everything. And that's the type of stuff you want to see, is character growth development in relations to actor growth and development, because that's really hard, especially being a black man that has to put up with people sending death threats because he's wearing stars and stripes,
which we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that scene here in a bit too, because that was, I still want to know how much of that scene was scripted and how much was they just said, you know what, you do this because we need it to come from you. Yeah, that's the Marvel way, actually. Like the ad-libbing is definitely something that they really push for. So yeah, we just want to kind of give you a little introduction. And no, the show is not just about Marvel and DC. I was a huge Spawn fan back in the day. Huge Spawn fan. And again, it lost me because, there was like a 50 billion different Spawns. I get it. You run out of content, you make another one. There's medieval Spawn, there's this Spawn, it was like rock and roll Spawn. And I was like, okay, we're going off the deep end. But Image Comics, Udon, Dark Horse, I can go on forever about like indie comics that are just, I mean, like look at two of the most popular shows that are out there right now. You have The Boys that just came off a wild second season, and I can't imagine what they're gonna do and take from their series and novels for the third season. And Invincible just finished its first season. Did you finish the last episode? Okay. That I'm gonna do today. I've already unfortunately seen a spoiler. I couldn't get away from it.
God,
I couldn't get
bro.
away from it,
I hate it for you,
unfortunately.
dog.
I do, but it's still, I want to watch it and take the whole, how it led up to whatever happened
Let me
at
just
the
tell
end.
you, the TV will probably go off, but you will probably still sit there watching the TV with the
Oh, my jaw will be on the ground. My jaw's going to be on the ground, yeah. I mean, the last 10, 15 minutes of the first episode, when you told me weeks ago to watch it, I was sitting at my computer like, what? I've never, like, what did I just witness? I've never seen anything like that before. It's wild. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, audience, like I said, you know, feel free to throw comments in the chat, and so feel free to ask questions. We'll get you as you go along for sure.
Yes, I have the chat. Yep.
Yeah, and if you have not watched Invincible, I highly recommend you watching what the modern day comic book show is what they're, and this is something, that show is something I would expect on Netflix, not Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I'm here for it. They're setting a precedent. They're like literally
they're here. Yep.
Putting a bar where comic book TV shows should go at this point, because they do it in movies. Why not do it in a cartoon or like an animated series? And if DC followed up, it'd be amazing. It would be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so happy that we're able to talk about them now, because the shows that I grew up on, right? I'm 85. So, you know, you said you were 83. So we have a very nice cross section of what we did, of what we watched. But you were talking about the shows growing up. Like, I remember running through my house yelling He-Man. You know, I loved He-Man. I loved Thundercats, Ghostbusters. A little bit later than that, Power Rangers. Silverhawks, Bionic Six, like Voltron, the whole 9 yards, right? Side note, Silverhawks, I went back to my house a couple of months ago. I found old toys. Dude, those Silverhawk toys, when we were growing up, they were legit weapons. I had one. I picked one up. Like, this is just a stick of metal. If I threw this at somebody, it's game over. You don't get that anymore for kids in Paw Patrol and things like that. So having this here for you specifically on Saturdays, the comic show here on Rare Drop at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a throwback to having those discussions and having those chats with your friends afterwards, watching those shows. And we're not Murder, She Wrote, we're not Quantum Leap, even though Quantum Leap was really cool. You know, we're here to have that conversation with you and to talk more. And actually, I know we said at the beginning, but personally for me, and I know Frank as well, huge thank you and huge kudos to the team over at Rare Drop for seeing this out and chatting with us about this. What next, Mr. Frank?
Well, let's just get into, we're going to give you, I guess, to give you guys a taste of what it's going to be like weekly. So what we're thinking is, and granted, all this is still experimental because we like kind of running with the cuff. We're going to have assignments for you guys eventually down the road, to where we're going to be like, hey guys, if you want to do a read along or watch along, you know, you should watch, for instance, you watch Invincible season 1 and, you know, or episode 1, and then next week we're going to talk about the episode, so we'll give you some time. We won't just spoil it. Even if it released this week, we won't be just like, yeah, episode 1 such and such blah blah blah. You know, it's going to be like episode 1 next week. We're going to talk about it in depth. Make sure you come here, bring your earmuffs if you don't want to hear about it, but you know, this is what we're going to do. We're going to break it down. And because like Matt said, you know, I grew up the only child, and I didn't have people. I would like literally sit there and talk to myself like, oh my God, I cannot believe that Wolverine did that. Or, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, I would always just like freak out by myself, and it wasn't fun. It's fun. But this is pretty much where we're going. So let's get down with Loki is going to be the bigger show coming out right after Falcon Winter Soldier, and that's something we're going to be really going into. So that'll be our first Let's Watch.
Yes.
Essentially. So make sure you prepare for that. Loki's in July now, right? They pushed it back.
No, so the two big switches that recently came from Marvel is we have Loki coming out on June 11th, I believe. Okay. Chat, remind me if I'm wrong. And then July 7th is Black Widow, since they officially announced that it's not just going to be in theaters. Now it's also going to be on digital as well on Disney Plus. Right. Okay. They moved that to July, I think either 7th or 9th, or the dates that I have in my head right now. So we're about a month-ish, give or take, away from getting the Loki series, which is, from all the trailers, going to look... You thought WandaVision was crazy? Now we're bringing time travel into this? I cannot wait to see what Loki's going to do.
And the cool thing about it is like Marvel has
June
this very
11th.
magical way of weaving stories together.
Yeah.
And not only are we going to deal with Loki and his time traveling of like, the modern Loki, we're going to be dealing with Loki. What happened in between the movies? Like, he
Yeah.
got the cube. What the hell did he do with the cube at that point? He just disappeared. Where'd he go? So a lot of that stuff is going to be answered. And I love that Marvel's hitting on those notes. It's like people are satisfied today, right? They don't care where Loki went right now. I mean, us probably do. The comic heads probably like, what the hell did Loki do? But it's like everyone else is like, oh, I don't. Can we talk about in game? Like, so everyone just doesn't care at that point. But it's really nice to see the in betweens. And June 11th, July 9th. Cool, great.
Yep. Thanks, Mondays.
So when it comes down to it, I think overall, like right now, we can start kind of breaking down piece by piece we don't have to piece by piece WandaVision, but we can start talking about WandaVision into Falcon Winter Soldier and where we see where it's going, the possibilities that it can go, where it can be.
Yeah, I think I love what WandaVision did. Because like even my wife, so we just had our second child, the little baby girl. So she was an insomniac. She wasn't getting any sleep, especially at the end. And my wife is literally the first. We are the definition of opposite attracts. She does nothing on this side of the spectrum. And she sat down and watched WandaVision. She goes, this is the weirdest show I ever saw, and I love it. Like I still don't know what was happening in the first couple of episodes, but towards the end, it was really cool. And what they did with WandaVision, how they amped her up, how they really had a discussion out there for what is next to come. And I know they were kind of hamstrung with certain things that are happening in the world. Obviously, we don't need to go into it. It was fantastic, especially at the end. Or the end of the what are they called? The preamble, the episode before the season finale. What do they call it? What is that episode called?
I can't remember on top of my head.
The last sentence that Agnes says, that's chaos magic, Wanda.
Yeah,
you're the Scarlet Witch.
That's it.
Penultimate.
Yeah,
Thank you,
penultimate. Chat. Yeah.
Yeah, they hearing that in the first sense, like that this is going to be an interesting next couple of years, and she is going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean, she's a superpower mutant at this point, and the stone chose her, which is very interesting because now they're giving the stones kind of a sentience, right? Like now the stone can think, the stone can choose people. Like, what's going on? Like, why didn't the stones reject Thanos? Maybe each stone lives for a certain thing. Maybe the gauntlet itself just controls the stones to the point where he can't do this, that, and the other. What secrets does the stones unlock? I mean, even in the comics, the stones weren't really dissected, which gives the movies, the MCU, like a really nice way of putting their own twist to it. So we only know that the stones do certain things. We don't know like the actual internal power of the stones, because it was really interesting in Wanda how the stone just kind of floated to her and showed her the light, and this is your future, So it's like, granted, that's the MCU's twist to it, because in the comic books it's very, very different. But I like it because it explains stuff to people that don't know anything about comics.
Yes.
Wanda was just like Anthony Mackie, Falcon. She just was there, and she had an attitude half the time because she kept dying. People kept dying in her life, so she's just like, don't care. I'm gonna throw some rocks at your face, and here I am floating around with my fingers, and everyone's just like, oh, she's cool, but Captain America, but
sparkly fingers.
Black Panther, so it's just like she was overshadowed. And then WandaVision, hate it or love it, it was a fantastic show.
Yes.
And people hated it because they didn't understand the beginning setup of it.
Yeah.
That was super important. That beginning setup was super important. And it dealt with a lot of stuff with mental health. It dealt with a lot of stuff with identity syndrome, what's with a loneliness, heartbreak, and also what the hell, like she just had everything stripped from her again.
Yep.
Like, and she doesn't even know that she lost everybody. They don't know about Black Widow. She doesn't know any of this stuff. She probably thinks that everybody came back, and the only person that didn't come back was Vision.
Yeah.
So she's like in this area where she's just like, I have nothing. The universe is against me. And when she tried to create the perfect place for herself and everyone else that she thought she was doing right to escape all this madness, she became the essence of madness.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just perfect, and now we have Vision we don't know what the hell he's gonna do. Like, so it's just a great setup. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest you watch it. We're gonna be probably going into details of it in the next few weeks to make some correlations and weave some stuff together with Falcon Winter Soldier. But if you haven't seen WandaVision, and if you got stuck at the beginning of the show and you're like, I don't know, this is not MCU, keep watching it.
Yep.
It makes sense. There's some things you have to stomach before you get to the treasure. But she's hella powerful, dude, and I'm finally happy that they actually showed how powerful she can be.
Yeah, and I love how they teased it in the episode. Like, she is one of the most powerful characters in MCU period.
Yeah.
Not Marvel period, not just the MCU, just like Marvel in general. I mean,
yeah, Marvel.
The director of Sword, Mr. Dushersum, I can't think of his name. He even said at one point, I think it was in episode 1 or 3 or 4 or something, when they went back into, outside of the hex, she almost took down Titan single-handedly until he decided to blow up his army in Endgame. Like, she is the most powerful, in my opinion, the most powerful character. Now that they're using that to dive in, obviously you got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and we're really going to get crazy presumably over the next couple of years. It's nice to see them go that route, more of a I don't want to say cosmic, but I can't think of the word I want to use, but no, it's nice to see them go that route, because you think of it, Thor, even though it's Odin, even though it's kind of like gods, right? It's still somewhat grounded. Captain America, Iron Man, like, this is different. You started to see it with Doctor Strange, which I think is still criminally underrated. I think Doctor Strange is a fantastic movie, but I'm really, really excited to see what they're going to do with her, and how crazy they're going to go even further than WandaVision.
Yeah. And just as the new nerd said, the first 4 episodes also a nice vacation from typical MCU storytelling. Yeah, absolutely. It kind of, it's what set the groundwork for you to fall in love with Wanda. You like actual Wanda, not Wanda that has red stuff coming out her fingernails constantly. It's like the actual Wanda, right? Like, so you fell in love with her. You fell in love with her relationship with Vision. You felt for her. You were like, oh, I'm so heartbroken that this happened to her. I want her to be happy. And then Agatha, biatch, like, just come out and just was like, I want your powers. I don't care what the hell you want. Give me your powers, And then, like, she gave her anyway. So that came out, and then and that I kind of felt like they didn't do her justice.
Agnes?
Honestly, yeah.
Well,
yeah, they really didn't do her justice. I mean, because comic book Agnes is.
I mean, she's especially in M.
In the comic book, she trains Wanda.
Yep.
So I'm just like, I mean, technically they did it in the show. Technically, it was a really fast lesson.
I'm a quick learner, she says, I think, right?
But in MCU, they were like, okay, the power was always inside of Wanda. She just needed to release it, And that was like the whole theme. It's like, because Agnes was the same thing. Power was always inside of her. She just needed to release it, back in the witch trials. And now I don't know what the hell to expect from that. And I love that feeling. But you brought up Thor, and that's a funny thing. Thor's a damn god.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, even though they ground Thor's a damn god.
Yep.
He took out legions of people in game.
Oh, bring me Thanos!
Like legions.
Yep.
And he could have killed Thanos, but
he didn't aim for the head.
The flaws that he has.
Oh,
he's so flawed. And it's like, you think it's like a god is flawless, right? Like, that's what you think. But he is super flawed, and he makes the worst decisions, and he pays for it. And then it's really nice how MCU focuses on the dread that he has, because like when he, it was comedy, everybody was laughing. He was sitting around a fat stomach and drinking beer. He's feeling that. He's lamenting that moment that I could have saved the world, but I screwed up again.
Yep.
And I lost everybody.
He has that on his back, and he's he's holding that burden in because, and like Sato said, he didn't aim for the head. Which kind of, side note, to take it back a little bit, I actually have 2 questions, and this is actually for the audience as well too. I'm interested to hear what they thought. First thing is, and you could tell me actually right off the bat if we want to leave this for another episode, because this is just actually interesting that we're talking about it. Speaking of WandaVision, Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Taken from the comic books, seeing what they're doing with it in the show now, how he just zoops and goes away. Where do you see that going? Where do you see them maybe taking from the comic books? Because there is a vision out in the world right now.
Yeah, I think he's gonna seek revenge, man. I think
Now,
he's gonna find Wanda.
What do you mean by seek revenge?
Well, that was 100% Hydra, bro. Like,
what you think? Wait, you think Hydra built? I guess we can. It's not really gray, but gray vision, because that's what it is in the comics.
100% in the MCU. Every commercial had the hints. Every commercial showed Hydra. You have to go back and watch it. Literally a Hydra logo everywhere.
Those commercials?
Yes.
There was Hydra logos in the commercials?
Yup.
Okay.
Literally Hydra logos. And then Madam Hydra, dude, everything is starting to lead up.
Yes, that was awesome these past 2 weeks.
Everything is weaving together. Like Marvel, they do that crap, bro. They were putting hints about stuff in Iron Man 1 that led up to where we are today. You know? The quote, I think they do it so beautifully. I don't think they cognitive think about this. I think they just go off of, they look at the old films, they're like, hey, that was a great line, Robert Downey Jr. We're going to use that in this. You know, the in-game quote, bro, that was done in Iron Man, you know? And then Avengers 1, he said, I think it was Avengers 1 or was it Civil War?
With what?
I think it was Civil War. He was like, we're in the in-game now.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was just like, let's go. Okay. I love how they just weave it together. But yeah, that's 100%. Hydra was all up in that, dude. And like I said, we'll talk about Falcon Winter Soldier. I really want to talk about it now, but the ending of Falcon Winter Soldier, like how they're putting more mentally messed up people in big roles. It's I love the MCU Hydra because they're not just about like Hydra everything, kill everybody.
Hail Hydra, yeah.
They're inside people's heads.
Oh yeah.
And they're really digging deep, and they're in our government. They're the people that may be sitting next to you. It's like the bigger picture. And the funny thing is, they're not even the big evil.
Yeah, right. So let's get into it, because we are going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier finale and some of the big news that came afterwards. I'll leave my other question for another week, which I think will be a really interesting topic that the audience will love too. But so we came off of it about 2 weeks ago. Obviously, Falcon and Winter Soldier season finale came through, an amazing series. We all kind of saw what it was leading up to, but once it happened, like you said, kind of like Invincible and a bunch of other things, our jaw was still on the ground once it happened. Seeing Anthony Mackie have the Wakanda Captain America suit fly
Which is
through.
Important, by the way.
Yes,
That's an important thing.
It
came from Wakanda.
It was fantastic. It was awesome. Obviously, there was news, I think that day at like 12 or 3 Eastern Standard Time, the big news about what's happening next. So, I mean, let's dive into it. Where do you want to begin? Do we want to talk about the finale? Should we just start with what's in our head?
We kind of like start with the beginning and like we will and go to the finale. Hopefully everyone's watched it. This kind of follows our rule. It's been over a week.
Yes.
So, everyone should have gotten there. Well, in the beginning of everything, like I said, we started off with, Anthony Mackie kind of putting up with he's being Falcon, just putting up with being Falcon and still the pushed aside guy that was in leagues with Captain America when Captain America wasn't about America, so to speak, by the government. And he's just trying to make amends and make it up to the people while trying to be a black man living in America, dealing with real life shit. And I love that. It wasn't just Falcon. I got wings and I fly around with Red Wing and I'm amazing. It's like I have a family. I have a sister. We have history. She's struggling. Just because I'm an Avenger doesn't mean that I'm a millionaire. Which is owed back to awesome. Tony Stark in his lifestyle, right? That's important. And a lot of people think I'm an extremist, but literally Tony Stark is your not want to say average, but is your typical white, rich, beautiful man or whatever he wants to call himself. I mean,
he's kind of hot, not gonna lie.
Life. Yeah, like a beautiful life, has everything he could ever want, and but what is the real thing behind it? He has everything he ever want, but he still F's up big time.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to appreciate it. But Anthony Mackie was the complete opposite, doesn't have anything, struggling, but he puts his life work into trying to make his sister and his nephews happy and his family. And that boat was a symbol, everything. But does it make Anthony Mackie's character and Robert Downey Jr.'s character that bit of difference? They both see the importance of life, but Anthony Mackie's whole life was that boat, and that's all he had to hold on to. Where Tony Stark had the world at his fingertips.
Yeah.
And it was a really great contrast. And yeah, they didn't really push the agenda there, but you can literally see the differences between. But I loved both stories, you know.
Yep.
So seeing that realistic pull and his sister still holding dominance, like, I'm not afraid of you. I know, but I've been here the whole time dealing with this. When you were off doing this, that, and the other, you know, that hit me, bro, because I was just like,
the whole bank conversation.
The world, what you talking about? But she's like, you don't understand what went through, and that was the theme setter, Matt. You don't understand what we went through while you were blipped out.
Yep. What
I was still here.
Yep.
Dealing with this shit. Nothing has changed, you know. So that scene really blew my mind for the first episode, and I was just like, damn, this is gonna be heavy.
Yep.
You know,
this wasn't the quirky, you know, weird kind of sci-fi-esque WandaVision. They were taking this and grounding it and making that an action show, but a heavy drama as well, with the real world impact of what happened during the blip and after the blip, and obviously tones of what's going on in the world here today as well. And that scene at the bank, I go back to when they come out and they're also talking as well.
Read my mind.
I mean, that was fantastic. The whole conversation is like, we're not going to get this. I've been here. Like you said, I've been living this. Like, no, it's like, I'm Falcon. I'll go. Yep. Like it was really well acted, obviously, and well thought out, just like the whole series in general.
Yeah, it was a setup. It was a setup to the end. It's like, this is a black man struggle in America who has a lot of stuff on his shoulders, who's trying to still fight for what he feels is right, and it will die trying. And like like you said, the bank scene, the dude was like, "That's great. I would love to can I take a selfie with you?"
Can I take a selfie?
The fanboy was there, but he was like, but when it comes to credit, you're not going to qualify. No, because I mean, it obviously was the tension between, it was a white man that at the bank that had to approve these black people for something very
Big
small
business,
that they wanted a small loan on, and they couldn't get it. And that's stuff that black people and people of color in general deal with every day. And it was just really nice to see in those subtle moments in there, but they didn't harp on it too much, right?
Yeah.
They put the subtle moments, but then they said, okay, Falcon, when they turned his Falcon switch on, he was Falcon. And it was important because no matter what kind of lifestyle he deals with, he's still Falcon. He still sees a higher responsibility.
Yep.
And he still does what he has to do. And that just flows through it all. And then the relationship between him and Bucky, oh my God, dude, it was brilliant. And I love how they gave them ample screen time. It wasn't the Anthony Mack show, you know?
It was very 50-50, and you see, as much as they were dealing with the blip, as much as they were dealing with the post effects of it in their universe and their world, obviously Black land living in America, you also saw I think I can call it this, correct, but like the PTSD of Bucky dealing with it and trying to right his wrongs, and how he has to live with it now because of what the government is telling them and he can and can't do, and that relationship with the old man, that while he was Winter Soldier, what he did to his son was heartbreaking. It was crazy. It was rough to see, but you got to see a little bit more into just the Winter Soldier version of Bucky, which was really nice as well. And like you said, the balance between all of that in the show tonally was crazy. I mean, I know it's just a corny line, but it's a funny line, like seeing how close they are relationship wise and how really truly good of individuals they are. Like when Bucky comes in and sees his sister and he goes, "Hey, don't you be hitting on my sister." I love that. I love that.
You can see that relationship kind of blossom all the way till the end. And but let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. The blip. That's really important because everyone forgot about the blip. And you know what? That's Spider-Man's fault. You know, like literally the movie was just like, the blip happened, we good, we back in school, everybody blip back in school, went to class. Like, what the what? Well, you were gone for 5 years. These people, you don't even know these people. Like,
I'm not going back to school.
Like,
what the hell?
When you went home, what the hell did you see? Did somebody else was in your bed? Like, you know, like the blip just, so
that was a great conversation.
They answered those questions about the blip, and thank God they answered it at the end, because I was like, what if you got blip bap and somebody was in your damn house?
Well, I mean,
do you put them on the street?
They also tidbitted that in WandaVision too, right? With what's the character's name? she was at the bedside of her mother dying.
Oh, Rhonda.
Yeah, like she blipped back into the
Yeah.
like that was
See, that blip made sense versus Spider-Man. Now, I love Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, and I love the movie, but I was like, people were just hugging each other and like putting books in lockers. I was like, what the hell is going on? But like that blip, people were running around like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? You know, doctors were still trying to tend to patients that were long dead. You know, it's just that was the chaos that I wanted to see. And you know, it's just like how funny how people were just like, that's why, you know, to fast forward, that's why I was just like, that girl Carrie, her name was Carrie, right? I'm pretty sure.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The quote unquote villain, it's Carrie, right? The Flag Smasher.
Flag Smasher in WandaVision, I believe.
No. In Falcon Winter Soldier.
In Falcon Winter Soldier, yeah. The girl.
I think her name was Carrie.
Carly.
That's it. Carly. Damn it. Okay, Carly.
So many names.
Yeah, she was 100% right. You know, I sided with her. Sam sided with her. She was 100% right. She was like, the world was a better place, and that was Thanos's. And it all just, God, it's just so beautifully rebounds. Thanos knew he was right.
Yeah.
Because Thanos said, I saw this. I saw this in multiple planets, even my own. There's a point in time where there's just too much, and you can't right the wrongs, and you need to start over. You have to wipe and then recorrect civilization. And learn from those mistakes, and if it doesn't work again, wipe it again.
Yep.
And you know, Thanos's thought pattern wasn't wrong. Just going about it the wrong way, maybe. But what other way can you go about it? you know. Now that I think about it, I was like, there's really no other way you can go about it. What do? Send people to Mars just to do the same thing? Like, so it's just like we call them like Thanos fanboys and girls. They believed in the blip.
Yeah.
You know, because it brought people closer together. Let's think about it here. Today, we're shooting people up every day. People are doing racist stuff. It's just a bad environment outside. Outside is bad. And same thing inside the MCU. But when people got blipped 50%, people had no choice but to come together. You know, because everyone lost loved ones. They don't know what's going on. War is not even an option at this point because everyone's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So people came together as one world, one people, as the theme was, and they made it work. And then, so you're living in this for 5 years. I lost all my loved ones, but I found this person. This person's great. We're living together now. We're in love with each other. It's been 5 years. We're living in my old house. Then my wife blips. You know, how do you explain it? What do you do? Like, you know, so that's a big question that everyone had to say. Now you kick the person that you fell in love with 5 years ago out the house and they're homeless now. Like, so that was a big deal. And that was such a heavy topic for MCU to even bring into the picture.
Yeah.
And because they could have just left that out, right? They could have just said blip happened. Everyone came back. Everyone was happy. They didn't have to address it. I mean, granted, you'll have people like me, like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, they know their audience is smarter than that, which I love. Marvel knows that they're just not going into this. People are just not going into this to just watch a movie. There's going to be people like us that are like, what? You did that? Like, no. This, what happened to half the population when you come back? You know, it's not, things are not right here. Yeah.
And then the insinuation, like, I think then the one thing that I was very much like, I don't care. I don't think I care enough about Chris Evans' character anymore for the simple fact of like, he's gone, but they really made it that he's gone, because when they ended, was it Endgame?
Yeah.
They ended that. He was just sitting on the bench, bro. you know? But now he's dead?
Well,
quote unquote.
Did they state that he's dead?
They said he's gone and he's never coming back. That's what Anthony said to Bucky. And Bucky said the shield is only thing that I have left is family. Do you think he would actually say that if Captain America was just still there? You know?
See, I don't take it as he's dead. I think is that they went from 1 second seeing a, I mean, he looked like he was a 30-something-year-old. He was obviously a lot older than that, but, a 30-something-year-old friend to turning around the next second.
He had to be like 80-something years old.
He's an old man who's lived his life now. And that, like, I take it as the different aspect that he's not dead. You're not going to have a turnaround scene and the young Captain America is back to save it. Like, that's the way I look at it.
Okay, so if that's the question, why the heck didn't see? I think he's dead, because why didn't Sam go to him and just ask him advice? Why did Bucky say that Shield was the last bit of family he has? Like
because I'm done with it. Like that last line, he goes, "This is yours now." I feel. But I 100% see where you're coming from.
I would think Sam would be the first one to go to him and be like, what should I do with this shield? I don't feel like I should have it. You know?
The other reason why I don't think he's dead is obviously they made Robert Downey Jr. one of the most iconic roles and what started this run to where we are now in the MCU. Do the I am Iron Man and have his send off. I feel like the send off for the character was the passing of the torch. I think if he was going to be dead in the in the MCU, they would do something different and actually do like a burial scene or them going to something saying, yeah, he's lived his life with Peggy or something like that. So I don't necessarily think he's dead, but I see where you're coming from with some of the statements that they said.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm a little confused, but I don't care enough to really sit on it because I'm happy for him no matter what, right?
Yeah. We've had that story. We went through it all. The passing of the torch. Right. It's perfect time. But it makes sense. People never
die in Marvel anyway, so let's just be real.
Well, I mean,
they die.
Yeah.
But they're not truly dead. Just because of multiverses and parallel proxies and time travel itself. We've seen that with Gamora. She's back now. Back. But and that's even interesting too. Like, is Widow gonna come back? Like, I'm just like, there's ways to bring people back. You the funny thing is you die in the future, but somebody can go back in the past and pull your past self forward, and then you're back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but that's the lovely thing about comic books in general. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, we knew this was gonna happen. We can sit there running our mouths.
Yeah, one thing that you're definitely gonna know here with us and get to know us is we're definitely going to go on for a while on a couple of things. Yeah. It's going to be a fun ride, but that's what it is. We have this passion, we have this love, just like all of you for everything. I say it passionately and lovingly, geekdom and nerddom. So that sometimes that's going to happen here.
So Dari said he lived off the grid all those years. I'm sure he's living out his life the rest of his days some way. I mean, maybe.
Also made the jokes about the moon. Yeah, he's on the, like, they made those jokes. I mean, even Mackie said it at the end of like the second or third episode.
And that's really funny because that has reference to not only comic books but the video game in general. Like,
just the Marvel.
It's kind of funny how they just add those little things in there. Yeah, so it's like, all right, okay, but like I said, it'll work. Marvel always answers his questions. I can confidently say that, especially with the MCU, they're going to answer those questions eventually. I mean, maybe we'll see it in Loki. Maybe we'll see it in down the line in Captain America 4. Which
yes, this is what we talked about.
Bold thing.
Yeah, this is what we harped on, or we teased a little bit at the beginning for those of you that know. They officially announced a couple of hours. I think it was like a 12 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern. Last Friday. Poster and all official press release that they are going ahead with production on Captain America 4 with Anthony Mackie returning as Captain America.
Yes.
And the showrunner of Falcon and Winter Soldier will be heading this movie as well. So that's awesome to hear. We all kind of like thought about it, but I didn't think it was going to happen that soon, right?
I think the ratings pushed that.
Really? Okay. Okay. They're like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah, I think they had it planned, and they're probably going to release it after maybe season 2 of Captain America: Winter Soldier, because that's they named it. I was like,
I like that 2. At the end. I
was like, oh shit, the ratings must have been real good. So, because that picture of him and that the way they have him on that poster, that's literally a Captain America comic cover. With Captain America, white Captain America, So I was like, this is great. I loved him as Captain America. We can fast forward a little bit. My God, if you haven't seen, and I'm just gonna touch on the final episode. I'm not gonna like give huge spoilers. But the final episode of that season was, I didn't expect it to be that good. Honestly, like I knew it was gonna be good, but that was just mind-blowingly well done. I mean, that last episode had more action and better like effects than most of the movies.
That 5-minute kind of middle section with what he was trying to do, and Bucky on the motorcycle, like that whole run around towards the last.
Oh man,
it was
so good.
it was absolutely wild. I mean, obviously his speech, the ending with Isaiah Bradley's character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Isaiah, the character of Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah,
yeah, which is a whole nother discussion we can have, because I think they did some awesome stuff there. A couple of things I wished for, but they didn't do it. But it was awesome as well. But yeah, I mean, how far down the rabbit hole do we want to go with that season finale?
I think. I mean, it's been over a week. I feel like if you're watching this show and you're into the MCU, I feel like you've seen it, right? Like,
yeah.
Is anybody in the chat that hasn't seen it? Because
this is one of the things that we want to do since we're here on Saturdays, and Frank can touch on to it too. There's this rough medium, right? Like, we're gonna have Loki when it come out on Fridays, and we're gonna be live in essentially 24 hours. We kind of want to give like a week breather, because not everyone could be like majority of us here today, including Frank and I, to pop on, sit down and watch it. People are going to watch it during the week, the weekend, things like that. So we wanted to give it a week breather. So this is a week breather, technically speaking. So I guess, spoiler alert, we are going to dive a little bit. Disclaimer, this show may or may not contain spoilers. Problem solved.
I mean, that's true. Yeah. We push it out a week later so that people can like say, oh, they're going to talk about it next week, so we need to make sure we watch it. We have a whole week to watch it. We try to give that. That's why I said some homework assignment, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I can touch on it without going hardcore into spoilers. I'll just say, seeing the family struggle in the beginning of the episode, going through the turmoil of, okay, we have real life problems out here, but Anthony Mackie's dealing with his real life stuff right there, right? The boat. They spent a lot of time on that boat.
Yeah.
Cleaning it, setting it up to sail. But you see in the relationship, it was the boat, the relationship between Bucky and Sam, his sister, and how the family is dealing with it while having mental strain on what the hell to do with what's about to come down. Because Sam was like, I'm 100% not murdering no child, or no kid, as he referred to as a kid, I should say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kid to him. I like how they utilize the boat as the, hey, we're not going to get rid of it. It's kind of the shield for him, right? He was like, we got to sell this thing. We got to fix this up. We got to get it out of there. Like, let's make some money. He gave up the shield at the beginning, and then he comes to the realization along with the boat with his sister at the time. It's like, we're not getting rid of it. And he's like, all right, time to take the shield back. Time to not get rid of this and own this now. Closure. Yeah. I love how they sync those two together.
Yeah, because his sister is older.
Yes.
From my understanding. So he went for her. He used to go to her for advice. And I think they made that quite clear when she said, I used to take care of your ass, blah, 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 when we were younger, And the funny thing is she gave him advice, but it wasn't direct. It was like, can't sell this boat. Who am I letting down? Boom, letting down.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, shit. And I got goosebumps right now. And, that case has been there in front of him.
Absolutely.
He didn't throw it to the side. It wasn't in the house. It was on the boat, right in front of him, and Bucky kept saying, you might want to look at that, so it was just it was so great seeing that, and the relationship between Bucky and them, and like the kids playing with the shield and Bucky smiling about it. I was just like, my heart.
That was really cool. That was an awesome scene.
The struggle of Anthony Mackie trying to learn to throw the shield, bro.
Oh, that was a cool scene. The whole montage, that typical movie montage of learning how to do it, him catching it, him missing it going over his head. That was awesome.
Decapitating him, yeah.
Because Captain America right away, super soldier serum, like he had all that stuff with him. This was you and me trying to learn how to do that, and
which I thought was very interesting because John Walker, was able to throw the shield just fine. In the beginning, I was like, "This one super sound." He was throwing that shield doing some crazy tricks with it right in the beginning, right when they announced him as the new Captain America. I was just like, "Wait a minute, something's not right." And then, like that fight on the 18-wheeler, like he threw that shield under his partner and saved him. I was like, "What?"
That was cool. That was cool. But you also then wonder, how long did the government have this plan then? right?
Yeah. But they didn't have
But
the
they
shield
didn't have
that
the
long.
shield. They didn't have that shield for.
So
They had it for a day.
I'm very much concerned. What is that? Now he bought a fake shield in the end.
Yeah, he made that fake shield. Yep.
So was that a fake shield that he was throwing? So I'm trying to like push together that because that was really weird. Because if anybody
It's
should
the
be able to throw
theory
that shield and
crafting.
catches, and is Sam because
Yep.
he's been around it for so long. But it was, I think it was deeper meaning. It's like he's in his headspace, right? Taking on the responsibility of Captain America while throwing the shield and catching it, screwing up left and right. Will he screw up? Will he lose? Will he do the shield justice? Will he do the name of Steve Rogers justice? Will he prove himself to himself, his sister, his family, all the weight of every person of color in America? Isaiah, Bucky, he is so much daunting stuff on his shoulders, and I love the way in the old Captain America. I mean, that's Civil War. He was running like right, but this one he was controlled.
Yes,
he was in his spirit, and he was like pointing to his nephews and like, "Come on, we got this," you know. And it was just like a wave of confidence pulling over him, and and then he just realized like, I can't take on the whole weight of the world. I can only do what I can do right in front of me.
Yes.
And it was just a really good point. And he started catching the shield. He started putting his own little twist to it. He's finding ways to throw it harder. You even put the little ode to the classic Captain America, MCU Steve Rogers flip throw catch. You know, I thought that was pretty hot that he's just doing that. And damn, dude. It was funny because he did all that, but now he has his own flair of how to throw the shield, and I love it.
And how to use it. One of the best, one of the coolest things that I saw, and it really is a nod to him being both himself but Captain America, was when he was fighting George St. Pierre's character. He gets the shield, and instead of running and shoulder charging him, he just booster packs it out and just through. I was like, that is sick, because he doesn't have, like, he can do it, or he could get resistance, but not if you got jets coming out the back to push you through. I was like, that's sick.
And he's getting his ass whooped.
Yep. He wasn't winning right away.
That guy was in Civil War. In the beginning of Civil War, the dude that he fought in the beginning, what was his name?
That's
in the last episode.
George, he's an MMA fighter. I can't think of his his character's name inside.
Wasn't he the guy from Civil War in the beginning? Like they were scouting him out.
Yeah, I mean,
Sam was the one that put him down, so to speak.
Yep.
With Steve Rogers, and he was like, I'm gonna pay back, you know.
Payback.
But oh man, the twist in the end, we won't talk about that. But goddamn. Anyway.
I mean, well,
I saw it coming though. I smelled it. I was like, something ain't right. You know, I smelled it with Carter. But anyway, so when it comes down to it,
her body count was insane.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, throwing the shield and the way he would like adjust to it by using it with his suit, the way he did like expand his suit and like clothesline somebody, every power attack he used, his suit aided.
Yes.
You know, I kind of wish they would have added more tech in his suit to where he'd have kinetic energy. But I was like okay, that's
Black
a Black
Panther
thing. I get it, but still, you know, still from Wakanda. But dude, and the fact that it can go in the water.
Well, I mean, you actually just brought this up. I didn't even think about it. His wings are probably vibranium then.
Well, everything.
So
everything is vibranium.
So that shouldn't be easily as broken as when John Walker ripped that stuff off. I mean, this is.
I'm pretty sure you can.
This is a different level now.
Mm-hmm. The way the wings work are different as well. As you notice, like the wings on
they're different design. Yeah,
went like this, right?
Yep.
This one goes like this and can go this, and it's the shield. Oh my god! When he went down to save that from the helicopter hitting that bridge, and he like shielded himself in it, like pulled the wings for it and skid it off. Oh my god!
That was awesome.
Just that whole reaction was so great. And if you guys haven't seen it, me saying this is not even a spoiler.
It's not doing it justice. Yeah.
When he flew up and he was like, "Okay, my main priority is this right here," and then people are in danger. He was like. Didn't even think about it. Just stopped,
flung off,
and saved him. It was beautiful because that was another thing that was in the MCU that was a big deal. Is that anytime we try to save someone, we create more destruction. You know, we kill more people than we help. And his he had a perfect thing. It didn't do much destruction at all. And that was brilliant. And and then. You know, we come down to the end scene of the final showdown between Carly and Sam. Yeah, that was powerful. That I felt I was holding my
I'm
mouth
not
the whole time because I didn't know what to do.
I'm not gonna fight you. I don't want to do
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah, and got his ass whipped, and she was upset about it because
yep,
she knows he's right, and it was just upsetting to her.
yep.
And that's where the young adult, the you know the young adult, whatever she was, I think she was like in her, I think she was young adult, maybe between 18 and 23.
I think she's a teenager somewhere
Somewhere.
in there, give or take, or early 20s. So yeah, young adult.
And she was that angry young adult. It's like, I just want to have good stuff and this, that, and the other. And why are you stopping me? I know this is right, you know, because we thought we knew everything, and it was such a struggle. And all he wanted to do was just pick her up and hug her because he understands it. And he was just trying to say that we couldn't get it out because how many times are you going to say you understand something? Every time that happens, something interferes.
Yep.
I
mean, they brought it back to his origin and who he is from the original. What was it? Was it he came in not Civil War? He came in Winter Soldier, right? I think he came in Winter Soldier, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Captain America, like Soldier, he was a counselor, right? Like he knows how to talk, and Retired. he even says it in there, like, let me go in and talk to her. Like, I know what she's going through. I've seen this before. Like, let me speak with her. And even Bucky's like, I don't know, but like he didn't he sided with her, but he didn't. But at least he understood where she was coming from because he's seen it before, essentially.
Yep. And also he knows that the death of this young girl is going to spark something else.
Well, okay. So do you think she's dead?
I mean, she lost a lot of blood, bro, without being tended to. There is nobody with healing powers or anything around. I think she's dead. I think she's gone. And I think it's a good thing that she's gone because then it sparks like what else is to come. Will somebody else rise? And that's something he said. Like, if you guys don't fix this, she was a firecracker that started this. Somebody else is going to come take her spot, and they're not going to play around. You know, she had second thoughts on a lot of things, and she hesitated, and then she was pushed to the point of no return. But there's somebody out there that will push the button without having any kind of remorse. And you know, it was a really powerful statement that I kind of wanted him to be like, I'm not going to always be here to save you. I kind of want him to throw that line in there because I think the big interesting thing is that everybody was listening to this black man talk, and they were listening. And that was a very important like note from MCU, because if that happened IRL, the news would have been cut.
I didn't
Media would have had their own.
I don't even think I breathed when he was having that speech. I think it was like a solid 5 minutes that I was like, I was in awe. It was so impactful.
It was good.
It was, and I can't even imagine how impactful it was for others to hear that. And it had me floored, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we'll go on more details next show about like we'll probably break it down and stuff. But yeah, definitely watch it, guys. You know, by next week, Saturday, and really, really listen to it because there's so much there. And you know, the funny thing is his biggest approval was Isaiah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because the moment all that stuff happened, the first person you saw was him. And man, kudos to the actor that played Isaiah, man. Wow. Because I felt the emotion, the very end scene. And you guys will see what happens with that. I was just choked up. Like my insides were turning. I was just like, this is not acting at this point. This is like real struggle that people were feeling that was just put into a situation where it was being acted, but those emotions were real. And it just felt good. And it felt good to see, you know, Disney/Marvel put out that poster. And the biggest thing is the reaction that everybody had.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what really pushed me over the edge, was like, people love this, and Anthony Mackie did a fantastic job. That whole cast did a fantastic job. People want more. People are upset that there's a lull in between shows, and this is only great for comic book shows across the whole genre. It's not just MCU. It's like, I think now if DC was to put out a show and it was decent, didn't have to be great, I think people would be given more chance, because especially now, right? And I wish DC did more scheduling, because now is the time to introduce something. There's a lull between MCU. Let out a teaser, you know, like do something. But anyway, I just really hope DC catches up in their own little way. They need to go rated R on their stuff. Put it on Netflix if you got to. You know, put it on Amazon Prime if you have to. And I wouldn't mind them going the route of The Boys. honestly. I just would not mind it at all, and still have that DC flair with it. No, because
Um,
honestly, the main villain, whatever, the main guy in the boys, that's Superman to me. That's how
Homelander.
yeah, Homelander should. That's how Superman should have been.
Homelander's up.
Homelander's messed up, bro.
He's a messed up character.
But so is Superman. Superman is messed up. Like the stuff that this man got going on in his head, they don't really like emphasize it enough,
Yeah.
you know, or back it up. I don't know. It's like Batman. Batman is really messed up. You talk about a person people call a hero. That's just probably like the furthest thing from it is him. And I don't know. I just really hope they go it, but whatever. But like I said, watch Invincible. Because I think that's
watch the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely going to be checking it either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to be checking it out for sure. Like I said, I've watched every other episode. That's the only one I haven't, and unfortunately, it was a little bit spoiled to me. But I know seeing the reaction of it once I actually get into it, it's going to be a whole different story.
It was hard to watch. Hard to watch.
That's going to be crazy going into it.
I watched a bunch of friends that aren't comic heads watching. They were like, I don't know how that last scene effed me up. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. Like, I was like, damn. Like, you know, yeah. It was like I just want to. I don't know what to do. And it's. Oh man, what a good. And everybody's comparing him to Homelander. I don't know why. It's not really the same at all. But
no,
dude,
it's actually completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing that. The Invincible, it just rekindled my love for animated superhero stuff. Like, you know, I have Young Justice and all that stuff, and I love that. But Young Justice was kind of kooky and had like a lot of comic relief and stuff like that. I mean, so did Invincible here and there. But anytime you laughed in Invincible, they just took that shit out of you. They like took your breath. You know, I was just like,
they took it right out of you a second later. Man, for sure.
Oh, I don't know what you were spoiled on, bro, but there's some scenes in the last one that I was just like my face the whole time was just like, oh my gosh, just
So there's actually a YouTuber. He has a channel, Emergency Awesome, and this isn't just going to be, you know, Technique and I every single week. We are going to be looking on bringing on guests and having conversation with comic book artists, writers, actors, actresses, stuntmen, stunt women, anything and everything in between. And actually, one of them I would like is I watch a gentleman called Emergency Awesome on YouTube, and whenever these big things come out, these episodes comes out, he does a really cool breakdown with a lot of nuances, kind of like how we're discussing here. And I for one, I want to, because it's been out for so long, I do want to read the whole series since it's already out there of Invincible, but he goes into a really good job of per episode going into backstory. So not reading the comic and hearing where it's coming from and seeing it play out, and then hearing the backstories of a lot of things, it's really cool and really fun. He's also did a lot of stuff with Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision. If you don't know who he is, Frank, I would love to hear what you think about some of the things he says.
Yeah, check him out.
But yeah, we're gonna be that source now.
yeah, definitely on here. Like I said, we're bringing in some really cool people. Once we lock those through. But like I said, you guys are very, very much important when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions or anything that you want us to cover, definitely make sure that you put them. I'm sure we'll have a suggestion box. If we don't have one now, we'll definitely get one eventually.
Well, like I know Star Wars and Scotch does that Q&A section too, so we may be doing something like that. But we do see the comments, like, so for instance, I don't know how to pronounce this and I apologize. Darixdor. I'm gonna call you Dur.
Yeah,
the government is super shady in the MCU. I completely agree. I love it. Seeing Madam Hydra. I can't get past her being oh my god, what's her face from Seinfeld? I just see her. Elaine. I just constantly seeing her as Elaine. But that character, her at the end, just tapping him on the shoulder. You're a U.S. agent now. Like, I was like, oh!
Yeah, but you know, that I saw that from the beginning. Oh, yeah. I was like, damn, I love how they gave him the U.S. agent outfit.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's black.
He did that. I thought it was funny. I was just like, yeah, the stripes and the star. Yeah, but I don't know. I think his outfit looks kind of silly. You know, because like it just looks like he has a big old head now. I don't know. I just can't.
The memes when you first saw him at the end of the first episode were hilarious with the guy from the old man from Up. I was like, oh god.
Oh yeah, this is hilarious. I feel for him as an actor. People actually send him death threats.
Oh God.
You know, yeah, people can't separate. They just can't separate it.
Yeah.
And well, that's an ode to him. You know that he did a damn good job playing the character. People hated him. And that's when you know you do a great character, but that's hard to swallow, dude. I play a character on Fridays for D&D, and people hated my character, and it was started getting to me, you know. So I can only imagine what he's going through. But hopefully he holds it up because he's going to be in the movie. You know, and a lot of these people are getting their upstart. I've read a lot of stories of people that I've conversated before that I didn't even know was in the MCU, and they were just like, "Yo, I've been trying to get in this for like 8 years, and I'm finally here." And they're starting to get their upstarts, and they're doing damn good. Gal Gadot get her own show. I mean, okay, so yeah, well, let's jump into some DC. We've been talking a lot of Marvel. Let's jump into DC for a little bit. I think Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is great. At first, I didn't agree with it because there's definitely people that look the part better. I thought the girl from Vikings, what was her name? The main character in Vikings.
That's one of the shows that I keep on. I'm told to watch it, and I haven't watched it yet. You know what's funny?
Her name is Catherine Winnick. Yes, that woman. My God, put some black hair on her. This. She's a world-renowned martial artist champion. Okay, that lives in Canada. She's also a badass actress. No. I didn't want her as Wonder Woman. I wanted her as
I've seen her before. Yeah, I know.
I wanted her as Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Captain Marvel. Excuse me. I wanted her as Captain Marvel because she was she fit the when she used to have a pixie cut. She looked exactly. Yeah, she was perfect for that. I wanted her as Captain Marvel so bad because I was like, oh, she's great, you know. But whatever. You know, the Marvel hits the nose on casting, but sometimes you know it's like a 50%.
I like Brie. I like Brie Larson. No, I think it worked.
Brie I liked her now. I like her now. I don't think Brie gets the screen time she's supposed to have, but I like her now. Yeah. I think every time Brie is brought up, she has like a male counterpart every single time. I don't think she ever gets her own space, and she doesn't have her time to shine. Like Samuel Jackson. That movie was more about Samuel Jackson in my end than her. But anyway. Gal Gadot is great. She's gorgeous beyond belief. Gorgeous woman. And she really takes her roles very serious.
Yes,
and I love to see that. Now, Snyder Cut, we're not gonna go into too much because we can have a whole show about Snyder Cut. But in Snyder Cut, I love that scene with her. I did. I think the Wonder Woman part with the Amazons and stuff was probably one of the strongest scenes in the Snyder Cut period.
Oh yeah.
It was very corny, but I liked it. I love the way these Amazons are like super ninjas, bro. Like, I just love it.
Insane.
You know?
It's insane how strong and powerful they are, and you know that she is different Wonder Woman because she's part God, part Amazon. But seeing what they were doing against the Steppenwolf that they recreated, which I love the redesign of Steppenwolf, not looking like a man, especially when he's getting 1,000 or 100 Amazons over him, it just felt different and felt better to me personally. It looked better too. But yeah, when you saw that, you felt the gravitas of the situation, how at the end she was running through with the cube and they just had to, I'm sorry, not the cube, the mother box. Dude. And they just had to keep on breaking down those doors and eventually just bring all the Amazons down into the water with this guy because it was the only way to save it. Like, it was wild.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought that part. See, that's when I was like, okay, all right. You know, I was like, I'm feeling this. You know, and that scene with her in the bank, and I saw the difference between that one and the older one. I was like,
difference.
Night and day, dude. Like, this was so good, and I loved it. And I just laughed because like a little girl was like, what did she say? How can I be like you or something like that? Or I was just
I want to be like you when I grow up. That's what it was.
I was like, which version? The comic book version?
Yeah.
I really hope they visit the comic book version of Wonder Woman because that woman don't play.
Oh,
okay, she will destroy a hero in 2 seconds.
Well, I love how they bring her in, and this was one of the topics we brought up and chatted about before. Like, I love how they bring her out in the animated series. It's that version. Like, she's no whole bar. She'll go face to face with Superman. Like, she's a very powerful character in the DCU. Like, everyone thinks of Superman being the number one. She kicks ass and takes
She's the
names.
Thor of DCU, essentially.
Yeah.
Like that. I forgot what cartoon was. I mean, what animation was that when she fought every woman? Pretty much every woman in DC Justice League, Young Justice,
Yeah.
Cheetah, everybody. She like whipped everyone's ass and was like, "Are you ready to talk?" Like after she whipped their ass.
Yeah, that was recent too. I remember. I just can't remember.
I gotta find that again. There's like clips
She
about it. We'll have a
whooped
clip
it.
about it
Yep.
next week or something. But dude, like that's the oh my god, DC has so much ammo. It's just like they put it in the wrong guns. Like it's just Wonder Woman is great. So I say casting Gal Gadot was great. I would love to see Gal Gadot put a little bit herself into it. Because Gal Gadot has a very, very, very nice personality that she can flip on and off in real life, and I really hope that they give her the ropes. And I feel like these male directors, and I'm gonna say it, and this is not a feminist statement or nothing. I just feel like they envision what a woman should be like instead of letting a woman be a woman. And I felt that the last episode, what's up, man? What's up, Tim? The last episode of I'm not episode, but the last movie with Wonder Woman,
84,
1984.
No,
I had hope.
it was
I had
so
hope. I sat down and watched
man.
it. Cheetah was probably the best thing that came out of that whole thing. Actually, no. What's his face?
Oh, the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro.
No, is it Pedro?
Amazing. Okay,
Cat?
Let me not even shadow over him. He was godlike.
So here's my issue with DC right there. I love him as an actor. I love how he portrays characters, period. He is a fantastic actor. Even in Kingsman 2, his character was awesome. The way he played it was fantastic. But here's my issue. You have an Amazon, a demigod, who kicks ass and takes names. You go up against a character like the Cheetah, which in the story of it made sense, and I would have loved to see the battle a little bit more, jokes aside and everything like that. And the main bad guy gets off with, "I'm sorry." There is no battle between them. It was a person who we understand where he's came from and what he wanted to do for his kid and his family, but that's not what I want to see out of DC, out of a comic book movie. I want to see a knockdown, drag him out fight like Man of Steel. I don't care what you say. Man of Steel, that Zod battle was awesome, and seeing the I jumped up in my seat when he snapped his neck and said, "Finally!" Because I wanted to see that. Superman has all that power, and you can't be that good all the time. That is a hard decision that had to be made. Wonder Woman in 84, I love Gal Gadot. She's amazing. She's beautiful. In all the other movies she's done, she's fantastic, including these. But the screenwriting for that and just having that cop-out at the end, it's like, that's just no. Just no. Like, that's not it for me.
That's bad writing.
Yeah,
or budget cut.
Or budget cuts. It could be anything. Like, and now after seeing that, I'm worried because Patty Jenkins was the director, and now she's going to go on and do the Star Wars, I don't know if it was a movie or a Disney Plus show. I forgot how they stated it. The Rogue Squadron. Was it Rogue Squadron, chat? Or is it the X-Wing pilot?
Spin-off?
The spinoff.
Yeah,
like, I'm a little bit worried because seeing the last movie she just did, I'm like, no.
I want to know who she answers to, because I feel like
I think everyone does in DC.
Yeah, I think there's some corporate heads up there that kind of just wanted the movie to be a certain way. Because what was the young lady name that did Mandalorian and everyone loves her? She's Asian. I forgot her name.
Wait, what do you mean? The director?
She did I don't think she did all the episodes of Mandalorian, but she did like the most memorable ones. But they're giving her own movie. She's directing a Star Wars movie. And I forgot her name. I have to look it up. It's been so long, but she's amazing. I kind of wish.
Squadron.
Yeah,
Thank you. No. It is Rogue Squadron. So thank you for that. It is that. I thought it had a different name to it.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know. I'm disappointed in Aquaman heavily. I'm disappointed in.
See, I loved Aquaman. I had no expectations going into Aquaman, and it was corny. It was funny. I also have a man crush on Jason Momoa, so like I was into it. So, but like I thought it was pretty cool. And speaking back to Falcon and Winter Soldier, how we were talking about it, how seeing him in that iconic yet comic version of that suit was awesome. I loved that. You were like, oh my god, how is he gonna be in just yellow tights? I'm scared. Like, I think they did that suit justice. I loved him in that suit. I'm like, okay, this is, I felt this. This is cool.
Okay. Okay. I feel that. All right, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and say it's possible because I feel that Aquaman should have been a Jason Momoa from the start. He should have been a blonde head white dude because I feel like somebody like Jason Momoa that's from the islands, and he looks like he's from the islands and stuff like that, and a water based native. I feel like that's where they should have went with Aquaman from the get-go to spice it up a little bit, in the comic creation of it all. And they could probably twist that just like they did Fury, right? Because Fury wasn't always a black dude. Nick Fury. He had black hair with white streaks in his hair, and then he was everyone's douchebag of a guy. He was a corporate dude.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and then they flipped him around. Now he's a black guy with eye patch constantly. So I believe they should do the same thing in DC. I think
David Hasselhoff, man, let's go.
Yeah. I think yes, Deborah Chow. That's it. Deborah Chow. That's who I need. She's getting her own stuff coming up. She's amazing. Big reason why Mandalorian was as wonderful it was. And that's another thing to break up. Like, okay, so we always say DC should go rated R and go hardcore. That's one path, right? But if DC went the path of Mandalorian, it could work too. Because Mandalorian had a lot of comedic stuff in it. There's no blood. If you had to go PG-13, then they should focus on where Mandalorian went with storytelling. I just feel like DC has to shove it down your mouth. Here's all the characters that we don't need to do backstories because you watched them when you were younger. No, not everybody has. Like, what the hell? And we're gonna just shove it in there, and then you're gonna like it. That's how I feel like it is. It's just like we don't like it, and if one director can't do it, we're gonna bring another director in. We're gonna put it in the same movie. It's like, what the hell's going on? So start over. Like the Arrow series, season 1 and 2, great.
Yes.
Flash took me a while, great. Because once I started saying, all right, Frank, Flash is a corny guy in general. Like Barry Allen is that dude that does something great and you roll your eyes afterward. I mean, so I ended up liking that. Flashpoint coming on strong or whatever. Young Justice animation's great. The re-entry of Batman with Robert Pattinson, crossing my fingers big time.
That trailer by itself, that one scene, obviously it was only like 2 months of filming or something, where he beats down the thug and he goes, "I'm vengeance." I was like, okay, I like this. Yeah, I hope maybe he's going that dark route. Maybe he will overstep that line, and if that happens, that's great. But the one thing that I hated what DC did was they said that these two Batman will simultaneously be released, and I'm just like, no, stop. Just do one. Like, let Robert have his shine. The dude's been living in glitter and sunshine for God knows long. How long? Let him be a Dark Knight for once, because I'm sure it has it in him. Because anytime I see Robert, I just see a sparkly ass vampire walking around with bad makeup. You know, I'm sure he wants to get rid of that. Two Batman. There's so in the new Flash movie with Ezra Miller that's gonna presumably come out, I think in 2022 or 2023.
They're bringing back?
So they're trying to tie in the multiverse, and like this is where it gets crazy because they're just going all over the damn place with this, where it took 10 years to Marvel to get to this point. They're jumping the shark literally and going right into it, where they're bringing back Michael Keaton's original Batman into this Flash movie, and Ben Affleck is going to be part of it. So this Matt Reeves Batman, he's the director, Robert Pattinson Batman is a completely different
Ben Affleck.
Well, no, Robert Pattinson Batman
has
nothing to do with had nothing to do with what's going to happen in this Flash movie where two Batmans are going to be. It's so, as someone who lives in this and is in love with DC, I'm even like, this has got to change, and I'm hopeful. They announced it earlier this week that the new DC fandom that comes out in October 22nd, which is actually going to be a great thing for us to talk about. We get to hear a little bit more about the path, see all these new trailers and what's happening, not just in the movies, in the TV, and obviously video games as well with with Kill the Justice League from Rocksteady and Gotham Knights by WB Montreal. But going back to it, like, they got to figure this out. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I have such high hope, for those of you that don't know, with the Black Adam movie. Yes. Though he is a DC character, like Shazam was, it's not being produced, it's not being directed, it's nothing. They bought the rights from him, and it's by New Line and Seven Bucks Production, which is Dwayne's production house. So I have such high hope for it, because Jeff Johns ain't touching that, because I can't stand that man. Like, this has nothing to do with him. So I'm very excited to see what he does.
He's not gonna let this shit fail.
Yeah, no, you see what I mean. He looks. Oh, he's gonna be right. He's gonna be the first superhero character or anti-villain or whatever you want to call it, who's gonna not have puff pads. Yeah. Like, whatever you see Black Adam, it's him. Dwayne.
And he's getting bigger for it.
Oh, God.
I saw his workout routine for it, and he absolutely looks like a monster, dude.
He is insane.
I didn't think this guy could even get bigger. But the funny thing is, he was shredding before the movie, and now he's getting bigger. Anyway.
Dude, you look at him back in the old WWF/WWE
he
days.
Was soft. He was like a soft guy.
Yeah, you see him in The Rundown, which was a fun movie to watch, and you see him today. Holy... Yeah.
I think the first time I was just like, what the hell is The Rock, when I saw Hercules? I was like, why is he so big, bro? Like, what is this? Like effects or something? And
Nope.
Yeah, he's a god, dude, literally. So that's gonna be great. Yeah, Black Adam, I have high hopes. So I'm going in with big expectations. I have no reason not to. And I think I won't be disappointed. Shazam, I couldn't even get past the trailer. I know people told me it was a good movie. I just couldn't. I did not like the Shazam. Looked like he was in foam pads. I hated the way he looked, and I just did not. And Shazam is one of my favorite characters, honestly. Black Adam Shazam is one of my favorite characters in DC. I love how they portrayed him in Young Justice.
Yes,
I thought it was perfect.
Yes,
and I was looking for that, and they gave me some weird. It looked like this was a dude in cosplay.
It was a very puffy, especially because we know Zach. Well, I can't pronounce Levy. Chuck,
Levine,
right? Like, we know him, and you see him, and it's just like, you see Henry Cavill, even though there's padding in there, you know this guy is brolic. He's a big dude.
Yeah. So I don't know, and like you guys said in chat, it's like they do a good job introducing all these different universes, and it's cool if you're just doing like one shots, but if you're trying to bring it, you can't decide to bring everything together when you don't have any substance to bring it together. It's like, I think they should start over. Robert Pattinson, Batman being number one. Stick to that story, whatever the hell you do. Bring Robin in. Please, for the love of God, have a Robin at some point, like a real one, so you can just break off of that later on down the line as well. And then have Cyborg have his own movie, which I think is already in the works, but let him do it, because that dude that plays a badass Cyborg.
Yeah,
I love him as him. Let's keep it going. Gal Gadot's already there. You have that established. Figure out what the hell you're gonna do with Flash. My God, not that guy that's playing him. I'm sorry, whatever. I put the guy from Barry Allen from the TV series in him, make him bulk up a little bit, put him in there, and you already have Jason Momoa is already there. Like I said, they have the stuff there. They just need to give them ample screen time, make people fall in love with them or hate them, doesn't matter, and then bring the real Justice League. Even if they want to name it that, I don't even care.
The real Justice League.
I would just be like, yeah, let's go.
Kevin,
I'm ready.
And this is where I'll lean on you in chat. You'll see where I'm going with this one in a second. Kevin Feige. What was he before Marvel? Was he in Marvel, or was he just big into movies and TV? Because there's a reason why I'm saying that right now. There's a specific reason why I'm saying that right now.
Let me see. I don't want to say it wrong. I know he was into some big ass projects.
Because obviously they brought him on when they brought on Iron Man. Right, like he was the one that put it all together and got Jon Favreau, and they started.
He did animated.
What did he?
Yeah, he was always Marvel, bro. Good Lord,
really?
He did The Simpsons.
Because here's
2017. I felt like, didn't he direct? What was the superhero movie back in the day that wasn't that was super underrated? It had it was like Michael B. Jordan's big start.
Oh, Chronicle. Was
Chronicle.
It? That was awesome.
Was it Chronicle?
That movie. with
That movie
the
was so good.
with he eventually was a Hobgoblin in Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, excuse me.
Oh yeah, the guy that was
The reason why I say that is you look at DC, they focus so much, and their comics aren't good right now. They focus so much on Jim Lee and Jeff Johns. Like, they need to separate that completely, because what works in comic books, even though it's not working right now, doesn't necessarily work on the big screen, doesn't necessarily work on TV. Like, that's why I like TV. As much as they jump the shark and it kind of goes crazy, and after a couple of seasons, like having oh my god, what is his name that show runs everything on the CW? Greg Berlanti. Having him oversee and do all that stuff and have the vision to tie it in, as corny as it may seem sometimes, at least it works. There's a vision and there's a story. What's happening right now, it's kind of like they're throwing and seeing throwing things on the wall and see what sticks. And I hate that for DC, because they deserve better.
and I feel like they watch a lot of MCU and be like, if MCU could do it, we can do it. I honestly feel like that, because it's like, it can't be coincidence the way they're doing stuff. I agree. The TV series, when they started when they introduced Arrow and they introduced the Flash, excuse me, and they started intertwining those two worlds, I was like, or those two towns, cities, or whatever. I was like, okay, this is looking good.
Yep.
You know, this is very slow. It's paced. I can catch up to it. You know, people that I know that don't know anything about DC is like, okay, I understand this establishment. And it was really cool to see how they had to come together to fight evils in both cities, and
the crossovers were amazing.
The threat is bigger. You know, this was good, and they were introducing characters slowly but surely. Like, what is her name? Hawk Girl, or I don't know, Hawk, or the one with the wings. She was Hawk Girl.
Yeah, no, it's Hawkman and Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl,
Woman,
yeah.
There's a Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman. I don't know if it was one of the two, but yeah, those two were introduced, and I was like, okay, all right, this is not bad, you know. And I was liking in Canary and Black Canary, White Canary, you know. I was like, all right, this is all going there, and then they dropped the ball, and then Arrow became Batman, like a crappy Batman, and then Flash, you know, lost momentum. And then the movie came out. The movie that looked like it was shot on a stage, you know, with two different directors. So I was just like, all right,
oh god, yeah.
This is starting to drop the ball. And yeah, Marvel wasn't always there. We can talk about how Fox ruined X-Men all day. But you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we want comics to win, man. Like, you know, I love this universe. I really hope DC gets their stuff together. I think they will. They just need to find the right directors, and people will hate me if I say it, but hey, I would not be opposed or mad if Disney bought DC. I would not be.
Well,
because I know it'll get the justice it needs, and it'll have the budget to put out good quality stuff. And if Russo brothers did it all, I wouldn't give a crap. I just want it to win.
Yeah, I mean, I had such high hope. What was it, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, in that realm? Warner Brothers was put up for sale, and there was people going after it, and I think everyone and their mother was praying that Marvel was going to swoop in, or Disney was going to swoop in and buy them, because it just made all the sense in the world. It made all the sense in the world. So unfortunately, it was bought by I think it was AT&T, if I remember correctly, and you know, they even recently, even as of recently, they stopped it though. They were trying to sell Warner Brothers Interactive, the video game verse with Monolith Studios and obviously Warner Brothers Montreal and a couple of other studios. But that they decided to keep it at some point. Like, it's not just DC themselves and Warner Brothers themselves. It's also like ownership as well. I mean, that's a whole different type of discussion that we can go into. But I mean, maybe there's hope for the future. I mean, whether or not Wall Street will let it go through, because at this point, Disney's a monopoly with everything they're buying. That's a whole, like, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Fantastic Four. I mean, Doctor Doom is being set up, as Frank said in the Professor Bromance podcast.
Dr.
Logan,
Doom,
like, it's,
oh my god,
there's a lot of things that we could say. I mean, this could be a 5-hour show if we wanted to at this point, but we need to bring it in. We need to bring it in. Yeah.
Yeah, we're at time. We have 4 minutes. Typically, we like to keep the show around an hour and 45 minutes because, you know, around 2 hours, people start losing interest and stuff. And we understand that. And, you know, there's going to be longer shows for sure. If we bring on guests and stuff, we'll have segments for them as well. well. Definitely, I know you're gonna have more Q&A segments, but this was just a little teaser, little taste, and I appreciate everybody for coming out and stuff. And I love doing this, Matt. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here, man, and do this journey with me. Like I said, we're gonna have a more drawn out show next show. We just kind of wanted to come here and sit on do a couch session essentially with you guys and give you a little bit of more personality, because it's really important to get in touch with personality, as we were talking about things that DC needs to do that Marvel, still was working on. It's like get in touch with the characters, get in touch with the hosts, and the personality and stuff. But I love the discussion. Thank you so very much, everybody, for coming out. Respect. Thank you so very much for that. I really appreciate them. Thank you. Yes, please give your comments to Rare Drop. Anywhere that they have any kind of comment sections or anything, please leave your comments. Things that you want to see in the future, things that you like, things that you didn't like. Don't be too mean. Because we would love to hear from you. So closing up, Matt, tell people where they can find you and everything about you.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Matt, aka Nighthawk Plays. I'm lucky enough, thank Glob. I'm literally Nighthawk Plays everywhere on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I am a full-time content creator. So Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I stream. I know Frank is officially Ballerina Troll on that journey as of yesterday and 2 weeks from now. Sir. So huge kudos to you. But yeah, I stream a little bit of everything. I'm ramping up for the charity season for St. Jude. I know you are as well. Got some cool things in store for GCX next month. Snapping Pokemon, raging on Warzone, and everything in between. That is me. As far as you, Frank, what's up with you?
Yeah, I'm Technique on Twitch. So you go twitch.tv/Technique. No U, no E, no TV at the end. This is Twitter. So we just put the Twitter stuff there because you can just click on our names for Twitch. And then we'll have a revolver that has both eventually down the line. But like I said, this is like show 0 essentially. So you can find me on Twitch, Technique, Twitter, Technique TV, as you see it down here. I'm a host, actor, voice actor. I do a lot of stuff. I officially put my 2 weeks notice in yesterday to go on a journey to do full-time content creation, which I was very scared of, but I made sure I took the precautions first. I raised a good bit of money to hold as a security bank, just in case something happens. I'd at least be able to take care of it, at least for a year or two. Yeah, because you got to do it smart, guys. I don't ever recommend it, because I had a full-time job, I had a career and everything, which will be gone on the 14th, and I'm happy about it. Spent 8 years doing this, that, and streaming, so a long time of putting work in. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Rare Drop, for having me.
Yes.
And taking on a project that my heart was on, that I was very sad that I couldn't get off the ground. So it's just great to have you here. Stuff that you can find on my channel is typically I do a lot of RPG stuff. Anything that has RPG element, storytelling, action RPGs, whatever you name it. That includes MMORPGs, action RPGs, CRPGs, anything. You can find it over there. And I do a little League of Legends for competition stuff, because you have to have your toxic little ragey game somewhere. I do it every night.
Need a little rage in our life.
Yeah, a little late night, couple of games. You'll see me. But I play some elevator music while I play it, so it's hilarious. It's like, and I'm like, yeah, it's really
that's
fun.
Hilarious. For those of you that are just joining us, though we are signing off for today, this is the Commix Show. We will be live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Rare Drop station, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on Facebook. We'll be giving you some notifications, obviously, through the Rare Drop channel, through our own personals as well, once we're going live. Next week, we got another fun show that we're going to be talking about. New trailers that have recently just dropped, to give you a little bit of a hint there. We're going to be talking about more Falcon and Winter Soldier, potentially what to look forward to in Loki. And am I missing anything? Yeah,
definitely be talking about Invincible. So you better do your homework.
I will do my homework
now. Binge it.
Yes,
if you have to. Because Invincible is I would say underrated, but no, it is being blown up everywhere. Like everywhere you look is Invincible, and there's a reason for it. Check it out. But other than that, that's our time, folks. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure you hit the follow button down there below if you haven't already for Rare Drop. And if you have a Prime sub, hit that up. Slap that at support everybody and all the shows that are on here. I think
Prime
the next show coming up. I think there's a show like almost every day of the week coming.
Yeah,
soon.
You got Star Wars and Squatch. Star Wars and
Star Wars
You're gonna
SWAT is a
know,
new
by the
show.
way, English is my first language, my only language, and it's hard for me to speak. So that's the first of probably many, many mess ups we're gonna have here, and I hope to make you laugh because it's all real stuff right there.
Do it live.
Do
And
it
we forgot
live.
and we forgot to record audio, but it's okay.
Oh, son of a!
Sorry, Paul.
We're gonna get yelled at.
I just realized that after an hour and 45 minutes. It's okay. I think all the audio was pretty smooth this time around. So anyway, have a great day and take it easy, guys. And we'll see you on the mix next time.
Bye.
Bye.